What makes Floyd so unique? Because he fought, you know, he fought Pacquiao, he fought you, he fought Gotti, he fought Corrales, he fought Ricky Hatton. He fought so many, and all these guys, a lot of these guys had titles at the time or were former world champions like yourself. What makes him so unique?
His pedigree. Look, I'm good friends with his father. The best trainer I've ever had.
Wow.
By far. He is, well, except for the professor who trained me for the Chavez fight when I beat Chavez in 1996. But Floyd Sr. is the best trainer I've ever had. He's a teacher. And that's what Floyd Jr. grew up with. He grew up with a teacher who disciplined him to be the very, very best. And I love his patience. I love the fact that he's a hard hitter and he has a chin. See, people discredit him for not having a chin. He has a chin and he has a big heart. So I think that what makes him unique is obviously his boxing ability, but his ring generalship is what does it for me. He knows how to pick his spots. He knows how to get you tired without even throwing punches. It's crazy. I mean, I can figure this out, but that's who Floyd is, and that's what made him great.
But people say he don't have any knockouts. He doesn't have power.
Oh, he has power. He has power. He has power. I mean, he didn't hurt me, but he has power. He has a lot of, I have a good chin. Pacquiao didn't hurt me. Bernard didn't hurt me. I mean, he caught me with that body shot. I have a good chin, but Floyd does have power.
But if you look at Floyd at the lighter weight class, he was stopping people. It wasn't until he got to 147, 154, and then his hands. He had to be careful with his hands, because the last thing you want to do is throw a shot, break a hand, and then all of a sudden you got to fight the next 10, 11 rounds with a broken hand.
Well, I think what happened with Floyd is, and this is where he played it smart. You know, you have to give credit where credit is due. Floyd, after he beat me, if you notice, he became Money Mayweather. Well, he became a businessman. So then now, okay, let me have, you know, my career, you know, the longevity of my career. I'm going to extend it as long as possible. I'm not going to get hit. I'm going to throw punches and pick and choose so my career can last longer and make more money. Very smart.
Had Floyd been around in the 80s and he had to fight Hagler, he had to fight Leonard, he had to fight Hearns, he had to fight Barkley, or he, you know, just say some of those guys, Durant, you know, how would he have fared with those? Because all those guys, guys had dynamite. Sugar Ray was a lot harder puncher than people give him credit for. And he had a heart of a lion. How would Floyd would have fared? Now, I'm not saying he'd probably go up to, because Floyd is a small man, and that's what makes it, he was so great, because he's not having to drop 20, 30 pounds to make 147. He's probably walking around at 150 his entire life.
He's a professional.
You
know, he knows how to stay lean and stay active and always in the gym, and you know, and fighters and kids who want to become champions should emulate exactly what Floyd did inside the ring, inside the gym. And you asked me the question about the 80s and the four kings, right? Duran and Hearns and Hagler and
Leonard.
It would have been quite interesting. I would have probably called it the five kings. You know, he's that worthy of fighting those guys and making great fights. Everybody had their own unique style. Duran was a beast. Hagler was a beast. Sugar Ray Leonard was a beast. I mean, Hearns. And either one had their own, you know, attributes, whether it was a right hand from Hearns, punches and bunches from Duran, who would just eat you alive, and Sugar Ray Leonard just had it all. So I don't know. It's hard to say whether he would have won or lost, but I think being in the mix would have made it just, I mean, that much more exciting.
Because back then, as you said, after he fought you, he became more of a businessman. But back then, there was no, you had to fight. You know, if you go back and look at the 70s and 80s with the heavyweight, Norton had to fight Ali. Ali had to fight Frazier. Frazier had to fight Foreman. Foreman had to fight so forth, so forth and so on. And so there was no situation, there was no business, and he came along at the great time. Not to discredit him, because he's historically, he's transcendently great. But in that era, there was no businessman like Floyd turned out to be during that era, so he'd have had to fight.
Well, look, what people don't understand and know, or maybe forget, I promoted Floyd's 16 fights roughly when we were building him. You know, he was under Golden Boy Promotions, and obviously I own Golden Boy Promotions.
Right. Was that after Top Rank?
That was right after Top Rank.
Okay.
And so we got him the Ricky Hand fight. We positioned him to fight, you know, Juan Manuel Marquez, Canelo, who actually I told Canelo, do not fight Floyd because you're too young. You have no experience.
Right.
Well,
but he's a much bigger man.
He is, but he's 21 years old, flexing his muscles like, I can take on Floyd. I'm the very best. Guess what? You got schooled. You got schooled.
Pitched the shutout.
Exactly. I mean, it wasn't even close. So my point is, Floyd played his cards right. If there was ever a winner in Las Vegas, it's Floyd.
It's Floyd. Let me ask you a question. Why didn't you guys have a rematch, you and Floyd?
Why didn't we have a rematch? Well, this is something that the world doesn't know, and I'm going to actually say it now. We had a rematch for a year contractually. Guess what Floyd did? He retired for a year and 1 day. Let the contract expire. And I was asked out. That's it.
Had you had the rematch, do you felt you could have avenged what happened earlier?
No. My body was breaking down. My body was over it. That was the final. Yeah, that was the last straw. I felt it in the 7th, 8th round, where because my jab is my weapon.
Right.
I throw my jab and nobody can beat me.
Right.
And I just couldn't throw it. And so it was over. My body was breaking down. I fought Pacquiao, and I was a dead man walking. I walked inside the ring, and my legs were shaking, and I was like, please just knock me out. Just stop me right here.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Oscar, if you know your body is breaking down, you know you're not the fighter that you once were, why take a fight with Pacquiao when you know he's a dangerous man?
Because I dared to be great. I always dared to be great.
You had already had that, Oscar.
I want some more.
You and Floyd fought on, if I'm not mistaken, it was Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
When you saw him come out there with his Mexican gear on, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, wait, the hat's on backwards. At least put it on right, you know? No, it was appropriate. I was just thinking at that time, man, I want to knock his ass out.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because I'm a competitor. Right. But then you think, because I'm a businessman too. I started Golden Boy Promotions way before I even finished fighting.
Correct.
So I was already thinking, wow, what a genius. That's a great marketing tool there. And sure enough, Floyd was built to be the villain. Floyd was built with his opponents that we put in front of him, you know, from Miguel Cotto to everybody. He was the villain. And in a movie, you need the hero and the villain. And Floyd was the perfect villain. You know, people love to hate him. And guess what? He made a whole career about it, and he's one of the greatest.
Do you think people tune in to watch greatness or tune in to watch him lose?
A lot of people tuned in to watch him lose, but a lot of people also tuned in to watch greatness.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because you know we like to do something before 2 something.